Okay, YouTube, today's video advisor is to basically help with the removal of a 2010 Audi Q7 rear wiper motor. My wiper was acting intermittently. It was basically swiping on its own, couldn't figure out why. And this is basically a tutorial for folks that want to try to attempt to swap out the motor themselves versus having to pay the dealership to do it. So here's a couple of notes. There's another great video from Technics that actually illustrates the actual removal of the wiper arm itself, so I won't get into that. However, I will talk about the trim and what it takes to get to the back side of this. So here's what it looks like on the back side. I'm going to try to turn it around so everybody can kind of see it within a frame of reference. But you can see the rear motor as far as the actual configuration of it. And this is removing all the trim. Now, in order to get all this back trim off, however, you actually have to take off 3 sections of trim before you can actually do it. There's a trim piece that occurs up here, which looks like this. And on my particular model, I've got the sunshade, the summer package, so it basically has this rear sunshade, and that's basically the hook that the top of the sunshade attaches to. Note that there is a little screw behind a little cover plate in here that is barely detectable. Had no idea it was even there until I finally couldn't figure out why I couldn't pry the sucker off, and then come to realize, son of a gun, there's one more bolt holding it in. This is a single Torx bolt. It's under a little flap in there that you have to basically take out with a little pick tool. Back side of this thing, as far as number of fasteners go, you basically have, let's see, 5 sets of black fasteners, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that basically pop right out. So that's the top fastener. Then on top of that, you've got 2 side pieces. These 2 side pieces also pop out as well. You basically, looks like this. You got, let's see, 2, 3, 4 sets of black fasteners. 2 here at the very, very top. 1 here on the side, 1 here at the very bottom. And when it's actually in place, it basically goes in something like there, okay? Now, once you've gotten those 2 pieces out, the final piece is this back panel piece. There's a series of screws, and basically here's what it looks like on the flip side. So here's the sunscreen. Here's the sunscreen pull tab. So I'm looking at it. If you're looking at it when it's mounted, basically it looks like this, okay? So you got the 2 holes on the side, which are basically for access panel for your rear tail lights. So you swap out those bulbs, and basically once you've taken out a series of screws, there's basically 4 screws on the underside in terms of the handle. So it's 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then on top of that, underneath this little storage area, there's 2 additional screws that you gotta take out. Once you pop those out, then you basically have to use a hook tool to basically pull this sucker off. And you gotta be careful, because when the door is open, it basically can fall on your head. So you gotta be real careful as you're tugging it off after you replace those other 3 interior trim pieces to basically get to it. Back side of this thing looks like this. I've got number of fasteners. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 set of black fasteners on the back side of this thing. This is what it looks like. Hopefully you guys can see that. And then on top of that, you can also see how the moisture on the back side, you can see the residual from where basically the back of the motor, and I'll show you this, where I was running into the fault, and this is kind of looking at it from the back side here. You can see how my wiper fluid basically comes out this little pipe right here. It's attached to this, to the motor, and it was basically leaking at this particular point. So hopefully when I put this back on, I'm actually going to put on a little bit of pipe dope or pipe tape to basically help make sure that that basically stays on nice and tight before I reinstall this new motor back in. But basically this water leakage that was occurring here was causing this motor to short and basically cause it to intermittently basically swipe on its own. So I've got a new motor for that. I'm going to swipe this out. This one takes 3 bolts, 1, 2, 3 bolts to pop out, and then you just got to make sure that you wiggle out the wiper arm on the opposite side. So for folks that are there, I'm giving you an idea as far as what it takes to basically look at the underside of the Q7 underneath the trim, and hopefully help you out with removing the trim without busting up a bunch of stuff. So once I knew how to do it, it wasn't too bad, but it was definitely painful. One of the things that you absolutely do need to do this, to make this job a lot easier, you need a pick tool like this. You can get this at, I I got mine from my O'Reilly's. Napa has a shorter version, but I wanted a longer version for a little bit more leverage. You need one of these, and possibly, possibly one of these will help as well. One of these type of pick tools with hardened metal on it. Highly recommend those two pieces, or even a pick tool like this to help with your removal installation approach. So, all right, guys, hope this helps. Enjoy.